Watatama Damies. It is Saturday morning. That means it is time for Sports Saturday. We are back. Well, at least most of us are back. Joe Fisher is out yet again. Slacker, like he doesn't, like he works a full-time job throughout the week, not on the radio. Whatever, bro. So he is out. So that means it is a Schultz and Shot edition. My guy, Jordan Schultz, behind the glass. What's going on, bro?
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. I see you back there fiddling around with stuff. You good?
Eventually.
Can't get the mic right? Can't get you straight?
No. Maybe.
Well, we'll get there. We're
here.
Yeah,
7-Eleven. It's Saturday, 7-Eleven.
It is
7-Eleven. Numbers.
That means it's free Slurpee Day.
Is it really?
It is free Slurpee Day. So
but you got to get the app.
Oh no. So
no, see, that's
folks, download. Take the minute and a half to download the free Slurpee app. What are we talking about?
I've got a problem with this. See, we could start the show off on a contentious point here because it sounds like Jordan, you don't care about giving everybody your info. And it's going to be in with you, by the way. I love it when we just do a show ourselves. It sucks that Joe's not here, but he's out white boy camping.
He's okay. It'll be okay.
Or is he glamping?
Probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't see Joe roughing it.
But I see Joe the second roughing it.
Okay, fair enough.
Like Dad,
yes. Yeah,
but
fair enough.
Joe the third, I'm like,
Joe
Fisher, like, I don't know about that.
No, I can imagine Joe has like the inflatable tent.
Well, see that
with like the fireplace and stuff.
I think that's just fine. I think you can still rough it with that. Putting up a tent sucks. So if you can, it's like an air mattress, right? You just blow it up. Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
There.
So
nothing wrong with that.
That's
not glamping.
I mean, that's kind of taking some shortcuts, though, don't you think, if we're camping?
I mean,
part of camping is the uncomfortable part of sleeping outside. Like, you're not supposed to enjoy it.
People just buy stuff on Amazon now, whether it be an actual, like, pole tent or an inflatable tent. I don't think it matters.
Do you like
anymore.
camping?
Yeah.
Do you?
It's I like the glamping side of it. I do see, like, my wife and I eventually want to get an RV. But we do, like, we have a tent. We've got pads, like, to go sleep on. Did so last summer at least a couple times. So just haven't done it this summer yet.
I mean, it's only comfortable sleeping outside for a little bit.
That's why you need the RV, man.
Yeah, I get it. Like, and that's the glamping part of things. Having a controlled temperature inside. Somewhere to pee. All those little things. Okay.
See, the camping bathroom. And we will get to what we were just talking about with, like, the whole free 7-Eleven Slurpee Day. But the whole camping bathroom, brother, no. That smell, like when you walk into, like, a Campground of America, a KOA bathroom, and they keep theirs pretty clean, that is the same smell at any other rest area bathroom or campground in the middle of bum F nowhere.
It's gross like places.
Yeah, but you know that smell. It matches everywhere.
Yeah, there's super gross places.
That bacteria.
But 7-Eleven, depending on the one you go to, isn't a super gross place. But there are certain ones that you don't want to go to that one. It's going to be an adventure.
Well, so are you like how rough do you get when you're camping? Like, do you like go like just cook on the fire? Like no shower while you're out there? Like, what do you do?
I mean, it depends on where we are, I guess. Like if you're somewhere deep to where they're like we usually go like remote. If we're going camping. So
off the grid.
Yeah. So, I mean, typically there's not like a restroom or something like that. So
nice.
You get used to being musty for maybe a couple days, something like that.
There's a place up on...
As long as we can brush our teeth and everything, I think usually we're good. But I think, people kind of get used to being a little tart for a day or two.
Ugh, yeah.
I know, right? It's not ideal, but that's what camping is, supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
Supposed.
To a
keyword.
Point. Did you ever stay up on Sovey Island? I think there's a point or a port up there where you can go and, like, get a boat ride to one of the islands.
Nah, if I'm getting a boat ride somewhere, it's probably not happening.
And you can literally stay on this island. There's no bathrooms, but you can camp there with buddies and then, like, even get pizza delivered to you, like, on the other side. Huh. It ain't a bad setup. I think that, you get, like, a creature comfort of food delivery, but you don't get a bathroom, so trade-offs.
No. As long as there's, like, some type of store within, 5-10 miles or something like that from us to where if we need, I don't know, additional wood because maybe the stuff out there is wet
or somebody forgot
like
a toothbrush or
somebody forgot something, like we can need some water Okay, cool.
You need a $12 gallon of milk or something because that's
Yeah.
what the old country store usually
Yeah,
charges.
So
God.
this is definitely the time of year that you want to get out there and
Yeah.
have some adventures. And living here in the Northwest, we have plenty of places, even lurking up there into Washington and whatnot. So that's where Joe is for the weekend, while
Sure.
we are stuck here with you guys. Sorry, I mean, at least you guys are stuck here with us, I suppose. So
But yeah, he cannot get his free Slurpee because he is out in the middle of nowhere.
no, I'm going for my free Slurpee, man.
Well, so
It used to be you can fill up like whatever container
oh, I remember
you bought in.
that.
I don't know if they still do
Yeah.
that,
Was
but
that a every year thing or was that just like a one kind of day?
that
Special
was an every year,
Oh
once a year type thing. So if
Bring
you're gonna do
in
business once a year,
a bucket.
it
for a
better be on
Slurpee.
7-Eleven. So yeah, go out there and take your kids to get a free Slurpee. I believe they have sugar-free options now.
Well, see
or
now,
zero sugar options.
now you're giving your kid like his info or her info away too. See, okay, this is what I have a problem with, Rashad, is now every time it's not even getting something free. It's like every time you have an interaction with somebody, they want you to join an email list. They want your information.
Just say no. There's a box where you can click yes or no. I want updates. No, we're good.
It's not
Unclick
about that.
that.
They sell your email. Every company that you interact with that you put your email into sells it. And that's usually it. And when you reject cookies or reject like promotional messages, they still do that stuff. So anytime you sign up for an
Go
app,
straight to spam. Not even tripping.
but it's not even just that. It's that you put yourself out there more. And in this digital world and the internet now where it is no longer this thing where we like, get off of and stop. Like the internet is kind of like our lives.
Man, we live on Twitter
Exactly.
or X or on Snapchat and Instagram, and our information, it's out there.
But
So
I don't want every single company having access to it.
every one of those companies messes with, Instagram and Facebook. It's out
Well,
there.
they do.
So, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but like I said, it's out there.
Hey,
and
go to
we
the
are
gas
as public
station.
as it gets,
Give me your
as far as
email.
you and I. So yeah, so that part I'm not really tripping. And conspiracy guy over here, Jordan, you just can't, man, you just can't let anything be like you've gone over all of the consequences for everything, yeah?
I mean, it's just a bad world out there right now, man. There's credit card skimmers. Like, there's all kinds of ways people steal your info. So why would I willingly give my stuff out in lieu of like
I get
a
it.
free item? See that they assume that people are, and I'm not saying you are dumb enough because, dude, Slurpees are good. And frankly, if you
I'll
said
go dumb for a Slurpee though, man.
no, yeah, if you said, hey, Schulte, sign up for the app, go get a Slurpee today. My wife and I like Slurpees. We'll probably do that. I'm bitching about it, but
Blue
we'll still
raspberry
take part in
Slurpee
it.
all day.
Give me a Coca-Cola Slurpee or a mix of a Coke and a
See,
Mountain
and
Dew
then
Slurpee.
you would like the Coca-Cola Slurpee.
Why wouldn't you?
Because it's
is that
disgusting.
what are you talking about?
That's the worst one.
No.
That's why it's always available.
No, hierarchy of Slurpee. What are you talking about, dude? All of them at one point are spinning, and they have that little light on that says you can't get the Slurpee right now.
And
I've
it's
walked
always
in.
Coca-Cola
That's not available
Not
because
available.
people get it.
because it's trash.
No.
It's not even never even cold.
I feel like the black cherry is the one that's most available, or the white cherry, or whichever they do now.
Delicious.
Blue raspberry, like you said. I mean, what's the hierarchy of Slurpees? Have you ever had the banana Slurpee?
Absolutely not.
Oh my God, that is. I mean,
See, again,
that
this
is choice.
This is why I can't listen to you about Slurpees. You just told me banana and Coca-Cola are the best Slurpee choices.
Yeah. And actually, those mixed together are better than Coke and Mountain Dew.
Oh,
The hierarchy of Slurpees.
it gets
is-
worse,
yeah.
folks. It gets worse, man. But
Coke,
luckily for
Mountain
you,
Dew, bananas.
we're here for you today, and we get to talk some sports, man. And it's been 2 weeks. What did you do last week for 4th of July?
We were down at the Tillicum Bridge. Actually, it's where I asked my wife to marry me. So funny that we were back down there. But there was it was called a silent disco because obviously there's a ton of stuff going on down at the waterfront. Blues Fest was happening. I think a few other block parties or whatever. But along with everybody on the water in their boats doing what they do for July 4th, there's what basically is like a silent dance where you kind of go to a bar, you all grab headphones, and they've got a few different channels that you can set, music to.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, it's actually pretty fun because we were up there. I mean, we were I think there were 10 of us. We were all on the same channel, listening to the same music at one point. We were all kind of testing different ones. Pretty sure, the cooler that I had ended up empty by the end of the night because of like people drinking so much. Like, it was a really fun time, and obviously everybody else gathering on the bridge to watch the fireworks.
Literally did nothing last week for 4th of July. Let off a few fireworks, but outside of that, I was like, yeah.
Oh, so you broke the law.
Oh no.
Because I know you live in Portland proper. You live within the city limits, and they are vehemently against fireworks as of what, 2021?
Unfortunately, it's not enough of them to stop everybody.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure the cops are like, screw that.
They were they were watching,
exactly.
at some point, man. So shout out to our the ones that protect and serve. But no, actually went to a Mariners game last Thursday, and they played the Angels, I think it was.
And they actually won.
And they actually won 1-0.
That is most Mariners kind of game.
Yeah. So it was, they won, which is good because usually
like
the last
T-Mobile?
few teams, I've been there a few times, but no, it's the going to the ballpark is always a great environment. Like there's always a lot to do, there's always a lot to see. And,
I always
it's
get
the most fun sporting event to go to
Baseball?
as far as like being in the mix of the people and stuff like that. Even if you don't necessarily follow baseball like that, like you could bring your girlfriend or boyfriend or somebody that doesn't follow baseball.
It's an outdoor sports bar.
Yeah, and then exactly. And so I thought that was the cool part about it. But other than that, just kind of chilled. So it's good to see you because it's been, been 2 weeks since the last time we've seen each other. And there's been a whole lot that has happened
oh my God.
over 2 weeks, especially with our Portland Trailblazers. There's a lot to talk about outside of the Blazers because it's been a big free agency offseason, arguably one of the best off seasons we've seen in quite a while. So we'll talk about the shakeup in the new NBA this year. Also, the NFL is all of 8 weeks and 3 days away. That means we can officially start our division previews. Well, yeah, today, I guess. We'll just start with
not waiting for Joe.
Nah, we'll be all right. He'll be all right. Yeah, Joe will be cool. So we'll just go with one division. How about that? We'll just do one a week.
No, that's cool.
How's that?
Yeah, one a week I think is that is palatable.
And I guess we'll let y'all decide, where we go from there. But first, Trailblazers have a brand new player, quote unquote superstar. But I mean, I guess I will let you judge that. We'll talk about that next, right here, Sports Saturday on the Fan.
They call this one Bill.
Portland has a new superstar. Well, okay, let's start again. Portland has a new star in town. His name is Demetrius Jamel Morant. You might know him as Ja.
See what you did there.
This guy at one point was considered the most electric basketball player on the planet. He was probably this generation's version of Vince Carter. And I say that because at one point, Vince Carter was considered the most exciting player in the NBA. For 3 years, Demetrius was must-see TV. You had to watch Ja Morant play, regardless of who they played. The lowly Bobcats. I know they're not a thing anymore, but I like to make fun of the Bobcats. But just whatever team was in front of them, he was going to make sure he put on a show. Like whether it was a high-flying dunk or some crazy layup that he does in the like midair, some spin under the legs, something stupid like that, whether it was a crossover to the rim, everything about it was Derrick Rose. It was Derrick Rose the year that he won his MVP, and that's what we saw in Ja Morant for a few years. And then, he had some maturity issues, let's go ahead and say that, with the whole gun stuff. And then he had some injury stuff. Which, to be real, I don't know how much of that was injury and how much of it was just kind of apathy and just like really not wanting to be in Memphis anymore. Like Memphis is just – players don't want to go to Memphis. Like when it comes time to travel and everything like that, LeBron and other players openly said that Memphis sucks. Get this team out of here. Like this is not where it's violent, and that's exactly where you put a young dude who was really still trying to find his identity and really trying to figure out who he was. He was a young kid. 20, 22, I urge any of you to show me something stupid you didn't do at 21 and 22.
We all did.
Did it involve guns? Probably
Mine didn't,
not.
no.
But again, we all make stupid mistakes. So you're hoping that Demetrius has learned from said mistakes and he's ready to play basketball. Because if he is ready to play basketball, the Portland Trailblazers got him for a steal for the most part. And it did something that I think a lot of most Blazer fans have been begging to happen, and that's get rid of Jeremy Grant's contract. Now, I want to start by saying this. Jeremy, good look, man. For as much crap as Jeremy Grant took, he's the best three-point shooter on the team last year. I think he led the league in like three-point and ones or something like that. He could still get you a bunch of rebounds. He can still come off with 20 points. When he didn't get like 18 points, it was kind of a disappointment. That's saying a lot because we know the superstars and stars average 20 and 20 plus in the league. There's something to be said for those dudes that average 16, 17, 18 a night, because they're really the ones that kind of hold teams together. And Grant did that even off the bench this year, so if he hadn't been injured, there would have been a chance Jeremy Grant would have been in that running for sixth man of the year, just considering how good he played this past year. And then just how good he has been just with this really bad Blazers team at points. So shout out to Jeremy Grant for, being a good Blazer for the time that he was here. But he ain't no damn Ja Morant. And I think that's the big thing right there because you get the swap contracts. You also lose Chris Murray. You get $1 million cash consideration for Ja Morant to come in. And instantly, the Trailblazers were the talk of the town. And look how fast the narrative kind of changed. I don't want to say the narrative, but the story. We'll say that. Because 4 days before that, it was Dundon is the dumbest, cheapest owner. We have no idea what's happening in Portland. What did they do with their coach? And they're hiring a new coach. And then all of a sudden, Micah Nori makes you feel a little bit better about the situation. And then you get Ja Morant. And all of a sudden, Blazer fans have something to talk about, right? Like, and really, Tom Dundon, I haven't seen a headline that started with his name in maybe about a week now.
I know, right?
So,
yeah.
So it's not to
Loosened up
say
a
that
little
there
bit.
still aren't issues, because I'm positive there are. But at this point, man, the biggest issue for the Portland Trailblazers is how do you work Ja Morant into this Trailblazers lineup?
Well, to try to break it down from where you started as far as what they gave up for him, I think most Blazers fans are ecstatic about that. We've been hearing summer after summer after summer that Jerami Grant is going to get dealt, that he's going to be one of the main pieces that the Blazers trade to try to bring in, some now talent, maybe more of a star player. And finally, they do something with him. And yeah, has it been too long? Obviously, I think so. But I do get excited when I see the return and the price that they got him for, because Jerami Grant, obviously, a piece that we have been wanting to get rid of here in Portland for a bit. He fits, but not really. I'm going to push back a little bit on as far as like how well he played this year. He did play well at points, but there were still times where he would show up and it would be 2 points. It would be, 1 of 10 shooting. And it's like, brother, you are a 12-year veteran. We cannot have that from you. I understand, and fill the box score in other ways if you don't end up having a good shooting night, but he wouldn't do that. He would kind of just be like, whatever, all right, it's not my night. And you would just kind of see maybe some apathy from him. So, and then Chris Murray, all right, appreciate it. I remember hearing about how great he was with his twin brother Keegan, and he's going to come in, he's going to hit threes, and that guy,
he's Taylor Griffin.
If you could call him the anti-offensive player, I think that's probably the best title for him. He's a decent defensive guy. He's energy, but you can't have somebody that is a black hole, a literal black hole on one end of the floor in the NBA. It just doesn't work.
I will give Keegan, excuse me. I will give Chris a little credit for he could be really good defensively, and then all of a sudden he could show up offensively, even in the playoffs, he made a couple really big plays. Like, man, good job to play in. He made a few big plays. Good job, Chris. He's one of those guys I bag on a lot, but he also came through in some pretty big spots for the Blazers. So
no, definitely,
it's going to be one of those guys that he's is going to be missed by a lot diehard Blazers
traditional
fans,
Blazers fans that love the effort. They love
Grant,
good guys.
Jerami Grant, I think he should be respected for what he was able to do, especially coming off the bench the way he was asked to do, this year, and still was able to give you damn near 19 points a night.
Mm-hmm.
Shot 81% from free throw, shot and 39% from three. He tried, he balled. He did his thing, and he did it in 57 games. And so I am going to give him. And you look at his numbers for his time as a Blazer. 20 points and 4.5 rebounds, 21 points and 3.5 rebounds. Then they had the bad year. We played 47 games last year and had 14.5, and then this year 18. So he's been a consistent scorer, on this Blazers team. And those are the kind of you gotta have to overpay for that guy. Those are the bad years, right? And those are the years, with a hurt Dame, and then Dame is traded, and then so it's been quite a journey for Jerami Grant, but it's been a good stretch of time for him to be here, especially as far as scoring the ball. I think he's going to do dirt in Memphis.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be minutes and shots for him to take in Memphis, so I'm sure he's going to do fine.
Ultimate
there.
green light. Him and who's obviously Boozer. He's probably going to get a lot of the touches. And Zach Edey in the middle. So yeah, but Jerami Grant is definitely going to be the leading scorer on this team this year.
Yeah, so I see where you're going about Jerami, and I don't want to get too hung up on the point about him, but it is just nice that as a piece that you kind of have to overpay for those stats, as a Portland Trailblazers type of team where you're not really getting free agents. If you have a guy that you like, you're going to have to give him a max deal, even if he's not worth a max deal, because I don't think 4 years ago any other team was handing Jerami Grant $30 million a year. I think that there were offers, but, and Danny Meringue would have more info on this as far as remembering, that years ago and having those connections, but I just don't think that there were as many big offers that the Blazers were willing to give Jerami Grant. So it's nice to see that piece that's just been an okay to good piece has now been turned into what could be a potential superstar. You said superstar and then kind of backed off a little bit. The thing about him is he's been in the league 7 years. He's, still 26? The prime of his athletic career is now, and he is now in a position, Rashad, where you talk about the trouble in Memphis that he had. He was the main focal point in Memphis. He was the leader on the team, even as a young guy. He was who other players looked to as a veteran for guidance. Ja Morant now, not in that position. Dame here to lead him, Nike in town to give him every benefit that he needs to succeed. I think you would agree that you can't really get in trouble here in Portland like you can in Memphis. There's just not as much for him to get into. He's one of the, and this is why I've always loved watching Ja Morant. He's one of the guys that you can tell just enjoys the game of basketball, Rashad. There's probably half the league plus that just almost looks like they don't want to be out there. They don't care. But Ja Morant, man, he puts his heart into the game. He loves practicing. He loves being on the court. He loves balling out, and you can really tell. And actually, I think that, yeah, some of those games that he's missed in the last 3 seasons were just because he was kind of being a D and wasn't really happy in Memphis, being a young kid or whatever. But also, I do think there were legitimate injuries happening there. He plays hard. And I've heard a lot of different podcasts. I heard somebody talking about this on ESPN last week after the trade happened. He is one of the harder go-get players in the NBA. And you know how their feet look, Rashad, after a season. I mean, these guys, go look at an NBA player's foot. If you have not seen this, the way that they run, the way that they cut, the way that they jump, Ja Morant is putting everything into all of those moves. Of course he's going to get injured. He is going to get hurt. He plays hard. It makes sense. I want him playing like that. So I don't necessarily have concerns about the injuries. I think with the lineup that he's in now, obviously there's a lot of guards that the Blazers have, but man, his explosiveness, Rashad, and because I have seen this in the league, he's got a couple of years where he's got a 34%, three-point shooting clip. If he can get that shot back, which he's got some really good help in Damon Drew plus to do so, if he can get that shot back, and if his mid-range game can actually improve, that is one thing that it has just been complete ass. I think he is one of the worst mid-range players in the NBA in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
If this environment, Rashad, can help bring out the best Ja Morant that we've seen flashes of, I would say 2 or 3 out of his 7 seasons, he's played peak Ja. When he was in the league as a rookie, it was, oh my God, you made the Derrick Rose comparison. He was hitting at a 34% shooting clip. I thought it was like a combo of Derrick Rose and Damian Lillard, but better because the way that he finishes at the hoop is unmatched. And now that's who's on the Portland Trailblazers, somebody that wants to win, somebody that really cares. Do they need to make more moves? Yes, but I love Ja here. I think it's the greatest situation, honestly, that could have been given to him, maybe other than like a big market like in LA or something as far as the talent, but I think it could be even better than that because he can't get in trouble in Portland. So lots to like about this trade.
Well, you can definitely get in trouble in Portland, and so let's hope Ja keeps that trouble at a minimum. But let's keep this conversation going. We'll talk about how Ja Morant can fit in with this Blazer roster. We'll do that next. But first, Jordan has sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, speaking of the Portland Trailblazers, they had their opening Summer League game down in Las Vegas last night. Lost at the hands of the Phoenix Suns, 81-79. Young Hansen, everybody looking at him to see what he can do in Summer League. 12 points, 5 of 10 shooting, and 2 of 3 from three-point land. Portland back at it down in Vegas tomorrow afternoon. It's a 4 p.m. start against the Magic on ESPNU. Also, another Blazers move. They have claimed Micah Porter, forward center, off of waivers from the Indiana Pacers. He's played 5 seasons in the league and has some three-point shooting skill that hopefully they can add to the roster. World Cup quarterfinals going on this afternoon. You had a 2 p.m. start on Fox between England and Norway, followed by Switzerland and Argentina at 6 p.m. also on Fox. And the Genesis Scottish Open happening right now, and you got Jordan Smith tied with Tom Kim and Rory McIlroy at 9 under. And it looks like Rory's getting going this morning in about half an hour. Tom Kim and Jordan Spieth at 10:15. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Curtain missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the Oregon Ducks, the Fan Sports.
Big things popping here in Portland, and hopefully, man, this leads to maybe some play in late May, early June. Fingers crossed.
I mean, they already did that, so they need to make another move, Rashad.
They do need to make another move,
like a big one, big star.
Well, I don't know if they need a big star, but I think they have. I think they have enough of those. I think what the Blazers need right now is shooting. And you just mentioned the fact that Ja Morant really can't shoot. His mid-range game is terrible.
Ass.
First thing I think Ja Morant needs to do is move into Dame's guest house. And I'm not even going to buy an apartment or a spot while I'm here for the first year I'm here. I'm just going to stay with you and work out with you. And when you go to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym. And when you do the shooting drill, I'm going to do the shooting drill. I think he needs to be attached to Damian Lillard's hip as much as possible. Like, if he's going to get better as a jump shooter, there's no better opportunity for Ja. Here's what people have to understand. When Ja Morant was drafted, he was 20 years old and drafted to the Memphis Grizzlies, who had no OGs on the team. They had no vets on that team to really kind of help show him around. It was a bunch of young dudes. That's what it was. Ja Morant was the star of all those young dudes. He had nobody around him to tell him, this is how we work out. This is how we eat.
Yeah, people were looking at him.
And people are looking at him for this information, because you're a superstar since high school. So everybody's wondering, like, we're following you. And he's like, man, you get a pistol, you get an Instagram, and man, everything works out for you. No. So this is the first time in his career that he's had a Damian Lillard, a Drew Holiday, somebody, even a Scoot Henderson, who's been in the league now this is his 4th year, and he understands what it looks like and what it means to kind of work and get yourself better at your craft. You have a coach in Micah Nori, who has coached some pretty talented names in the NBA that could hopefully get Ja to the point to where he's comfortable with himself. And so I think this is a great situation for him, but I do think that one thing he needs to do is really attach himself to these veterans. I truly think Drew Holiday and Dame Lillard can teach him how to be a better point guard. Like Drew Holiday on the defensive side, because that's also a side of the ball where Ja Morant is not awesome. One-on-one defense, like Ja is not. He's not great at that.
Nope.
That's not what he does. He gets cooked on the other end.
He can play defense. I say he's a better overall defender than Dame.
But especially at the basket,
no.
like, because he's so explosive, he can block shots and he can do stuff. But one-on-one defense against like some elite guards or at least some shifty guards, he can have a problem. That's also somewhere where Scoot can come in and help, because Scoot is a very good defender at the point guard position. So I think this is the first time where he doesn't really have to worry about being the guy all the time. There's some nights to where, yes, considering your matchup, you are going to have to be the guy. But there are other nights where he can just be support to the guy. And so I think that's the first thing. And everybody's kind of freaking out about how they can use X amount of guards on the floor. I don't see it being a problem, especially in this NBA.
Okay, so you really like the 3-4 guard. I understand that we're now kind of a positionless NBA, kind of maybe one bigger guy, and then whoever the hell else you want in. There's no point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward lineup as much every night as there used to be, but I'm not sure that you want to give Scoot Henderson minutes while you're giving Ja Morant minutes. You still need to see stuff from Shaedon Sharpe, right? And we're talking, it really just comes down to the analytics, all right? These are 5 guys that each have 48 minutes per game to try to get into. And if you're still trying to play Robert Williams 20 minutes, 25 minutes at, I'm going to put him at the power forward a little bit, and then I'm spelling Klingon at the center as well. Like, it's that combination of essentially trying to make everything work together. If you bring Matisse back, you're going to have to give him some of the minutes. I'm not saying they're going to, but
they should.
If you're trying to get Micah Potter in to shoot some threes, if you're going to bring in another shooter, then who else are we trying to meld in with these 4 guards? And if you look at Scoot, Shaedon, Dame, Drew, Ja, 5 guards, Scoot falls right out of that list. Like, if you're like, who's the best? He's on the bottom.
Like Scoot.
Huh?
I disagree. You just don't like Scoot.
No, I'm not. Take my bias out of it. Are you telling me that Scoot is ranked higher in those 5 than Shaedon?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And the playoffs alone is enough to say yes.
just because of those couple of games. Okay, I understand your point about him showing up in the playoffs, but then at least for one game, and then the next game, brother, he went like 0 for.
Scoot was cooking his last month and a half in the league. Once he came back from injury and figured everything out, like Scoot was going to work. We can't forget that. Like, I mean, yes.
Okay, all right. So my point can exist with either Scoot or Shaden,
Sure.
right? Let's take one of those guys at the bottom.
Sure.
You don't have enough minutes to fill, period. You just don't have enough minutes. You've got to give Dame, yeah, he's coming back from injury, but you're giving him a minimum of 30 minutes probably. You're giving Drew probably 25, 30 minutes. And when it shakes out, everyone's like, oh, they can coexist together. And yes, the NBA is a positionless league, but you still have to have some size on there. Dame is 6 foot, Ja's 6'2", Drew Holiday's what, 6'2"?
6'4".
6'4", excuse me. And then Shaden's the biggest out of all of them at like 6'5", 6'6". Scoot's also like 6'2". So Shaden is probably going to be on the floor more than not just for size, and you do need to give him some runway. And I still think Scoot, regardless, needs some runway to actually prove that he is what you saw in the playoffs last year. I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think to meld them all together. Sure, when Dame's on the court, you can have Ja. You know, when Drew's on the court, you can have Dame with Drew. Like, there's definitely different combinations you can throw out there, and I'm sure for the first 20 games of the year, Mike Inori is going to try to see what works. But one of these guys, Rashad, by the start of the season, has to go.
You ever played AAU or been around a lot much AAU?
It has been not the current iteration because, dude, private equity money has ruined sports, so I haven't seen an AAU game since I was 16, but I saw them, yes.
So you've got all these star players for the most part, or all these players that in their own right are going to average 20-something points. Yeah. Even Shaden this year averaged, 20, 21?
Almost, yeah.
Something like that, So what you end up doing in most cases for a lot of people, considering the amount of talent you have, is you'll end up just having 2 starting lineups. Now, how you end up subbing those guys in is kind of up to you. But I'm looking at a Blazers team where you can literally have 2 different starting fives every night, and each one of them would be fine. You could really, based on what you have on your bench, there's not a lot of teams that have that. So I'm not necessarily looking at the team that's the deepest. We look back at the finals and we look at what San Antonio wasn't able to do against the Knicks because the Knicks were just kind of deeper and they were going in. Landry Shamet and McBride and guys that we hadn't even heard of, or not heard of, but guys that we hadn't seen for a lot of the season got some big run, at that point. Like when you can go deep on your bench, and right now as it sits, Shaden Sharp, Scoot Henderson, Veet, Young, Robert Williams, all these guys are coming off your bench still. Like that's a amount of firepower that, potentially Ja Morant or Drew Holiday coming off the bench, that's a lot of firepower. Not a lot of teams have. And
do you force Tamani to the bench to add a little bit of size?
Like, you need some size.
But he's one of the best defensive players in the NBA. How do you keep him off the court?
You don't.
Exactly.
You have to. But the thing is, if he does have to go to your second unit, like, yikes, because Denny is a great defender. People don't give him a lot of credit because he's so good offensively. But Denny is an awesome defender, especially on the ball. So
let's lay these 2 out right now. So you're talking 2 starting lineups that you think the Blazers have. So their starting lineup number 1 would be Dame, Ja, right now Tamani.
I don't think Ja's a starter right now.
You don't think Ja's a starter right now?
I'm
so you think
Drew Holiday.
You're starting Drew Holiday? See, I disagree with that. I think Ja's going to come in and start immediately, but I hear why you don't think that.
I'm starting Drew Holiday.
So your lineup is Dame, Drew, Tumani, Denny, and Klingon, right? That's your starting 5, number 1. And then your second starting 5 would be Ja, Scoot, Shaden, Rob Will, and Micah Potter, Matisse, or whoever that you throw in there right now at the 3 or the 4. That first starting lineup sounds really good, but that second one sounds like a group of good players, but not something that would be like a all-star lineup for another team. I just don't see that.
I think there is still a chance Ja Morant could start. I do think that's a possibility. I can see Drew, Dame, Ja, Denny, and Klingon on the floor to start a game. I can see that.
If you put Drew with Shaden a lot more, as maybe a second unit option, I see that working.
Yeah,
I do.
Hey, so I think there's a lot of options there, and let's go ahead and wrap up this conversation with Ja Morant before we get into the rest of the league and all these moves going around. So we'll do that next on The Fan.
Guys, did you know your test?
Sports Saturday on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 and 1080 The Fan.
9:47 on this beautiful 7/11/26. Go get those free Slurpees.
Happy Saturday.
Forget what Jordan's talking about. Happy Saturday indeed. Hopefully the sun comes out. It's kind of gray this morning, but hopefully the sun's out. Mississippi Street Fair is today.
Yeah, my wife was talking about that, actually.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I got invited to play poker tonight, and I think I'm going to go, but I was like, I don't know, man. I kind of want to go to the street fair. There's also a night fair tonight as well in Portland. Yeah, so like 4 to 11. Those are fun, too. And it's like 74 degrees today.
I have to be honest. I'm not a street fair. I live 3 blocks away from it. It's too much. It's too much. Too many people.
Too many people.
Too many people.
I got you, man.
Can't do a lot of people like that, But somebody who could do a lot of people was John Morant, who was on the sideline with his Blazers teammates yesterday at the Summer League. Did you see that?
Yes, of course. I saw all those guys
Yeah,
down in
man.
Vegas.
Hey.
I saw Donovan Clingan and be like, hey, I'm young, I'm attractive, I'm rich. Like, it's good to be you.
It's good to be you, bro.
It's good to be you.
It's good to be out there living life, man. But I loved seeing John Morant out there already with his teammates,
He's
already,
excited. You can tell.
You can tell in his face, like, he's ready for a new start. Can you imagine nobody wanted John Morant? Nobody. The Blazers pretty much got him for something they've been trying to get rid of for a long time and $1 million consideration, but nobody wanted
Memphis
John
Grizzlies
Morant.
paid Portland $1 million to take him.
Yeah, essentially. Like, you can have here. We'll even take Chris Murray from you. Like, dang, really? Like, so that's crazy. Nobody wanted him. So I think when you're in a situation, remember when Melo came? And
Carmelo Anthony, love that. I still got my 00 Melo jersey.
Listen, that was at that point that was the biggest name Portland had ever signed, and that wasn't named Scottie Pippen. Like that, Carmelo Anthony at that point, that name was the biggest thing that Portland had ever had in years. And so John Morant who's still active and still young, a better play than Carmelo Anthony, at this point. And the big question is, how do these guys finish? What is it going to look like on the floor? We know it's going to be exciting. We know we can't start Ja and Dame because defensively you'd get cooked on the other end. So we know Drew is going to be in there for some type of defensive reliability. But in your eyes, Jordan, adding Ja Morant, where does this Blazers team finish for this 26-27 year?
I mean, if they stand pat as they are as a roster right now,
because you do have shooting now.
You
do have some shooting in Dame now.
Yeah,
you will have Shaden back, who will add some more shooting.
You got Dame coming back. That's true, but they need another player. Like, I'm so sick of. God, I'm a Mariners fan, and I feel like they come out of the gates every year with like one bat short, and I feel like that's kind of also been the way the Portland Trailblazers have operated the last few seasons under Joe Cronin, with Chauncey Billups just kind of giving him one less or two less players than he needed. Now Mike Nori, obviously highlighting in his press conference that Dame is back, and that will add some touch. But you got to add like a John Collins. Like, I was so mad when I can't remember if it was the Pistons or somebody else that signed him, Clippers free agent, that was well within the mid-level exception dollars that the Blazers have. So they could have not even affected their cap, signing a guy like that. And he's a 40% almost three-point shooter. Like, that is the kind of guy that the Blazers need to key in on. Mike Potter, could he be something? Yes, but I am sick and tired of these projects, of these reclamation guys. Like, we're doing that with John Morant, right? He's a potential superstar. It's a big, super, high potential value reclamation project, but Can we please get an established freaking shooter in here? I need a Mo Williams, right? When the Blazers brought him in back in the day. Like, it didn't work out for a year, but Jamal Crawford bringing actual shooting talent in. Like, I need to see that sort of attempt.
I mean, I agree. I do think that's the one really glaring hole for the Blazers is shooting. I think defensively they got much better. They need to be a little bit better than that this upcoming year. But this is where hoping that Denny really took some time in the offseason to really master his
Yeah, we haven't talked
shot.
about him much.
We haven't because, I think Denny got a lot of praise, but he's also got a bit of a pass because he was so much better this year. So we just assume he's going to get better. But that's the one thing he really needs to work on this offseason is getting that three-point shot more consistent. Toumani Camara did much better this past season shooting the three ball. He has to get better shooting the three more consistently this year. There'd be some games where Toumani just couldn't miss and other games where he couldn't find a bucket, so he needs to be able to be more consistent with that three. So you would hope that the guys that you have that showed some promise last year are hitting the gym and working with shooting coaches, hopefully working with Dame, figuring out different ways to get your shot off, and they're figuring out ways to become more successful from behind the arc next year.
Yeah, and to answer your question, man, because I don't think, like Denny took a huge step last year.
Huge.
I don't know how much better he can get, and that's not a knock on him. It's just at some point
he's still got holes, and we see it.
Exactly,
right?
and
Denny's
maybe
still got holes in his game, and so if he can fix his ability to again shoot the three ball, that's really the biggest thing holding him back because he's a good defender. He gets to the rack like anybody. He finishes with both hands around the basket. Free throws and a consistent 3-point shot for Denny would make him on par with a guy like Luka.
But not everybody's going to round out their game. We have this expectation, well, if he takes this next step, and I'm not saying you fall into this. I feel like this is a lot of Blazers
you're talking
fans.
about me because I'm one of those guys.
No, because you have been out on players that Joe and I have been out on too. So I don't fully consider you just like rose-colored glasses Blazers fan here. Maybe, but what you're saying is like, well, if he fills out these little holes in his game, that might not happen. And when you're like, well, what are they going to do this year with Ja, with a couple of new players? As the roster sits right now, they'll make a play-in again. They might get like the 6th seed and get a guaranteed spot, but I just don't see in a really crowded good Western Conference, man, that just got a lot better. And
Did it?
Who know? I don't.
Did it?
I feel like he got rid of some of the excess. Like Kawhi in LA didn't work. The Clippers are on a rebuilding project.
So you
now.
think Minnesota got better?
I do.
You think losing? We're going to talk about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But they got Bones Highland back. Still made a trade to bring a couple other guys in.
They're like us. They're the same situation as us. They got a bunch of guards.
But they've got Anthony
Dosunmu,
Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, LaMelo, Bones. You got a bunch of guards.
Dosunmu is a guy that they wanted to bring back. They're going to be keying in on him a lot more for offensive possessions in Minnesota this year. That's the kind of thing, like we see what Denny did last year. Now we know that we're going to give him the ball a lot more this year. That's kind of what's happening in Minnesota with Dosunmu. So I'm not as concerned about them, but who knows where the Warriors are going to be if LeBron decides to all of a sudden sign with them and they make one last great run. Like the Western Conference still does look a little stacked despite losing a couple of players on some big teams. I just don't see the Blazers getting better than 6th.
I don't know. I think without all the blown leads last year, even with half of those blown leads, they win 50 games. And so I do think that the Blazers should be somewhere within the 3, 4, 5 next year. Like that's the next step for them. You got the 7 seed. 3, 4, 5 is where the Blazers should be aiming.
Well, Mike Nori is a damn good coach, but will the players actually execute? You were
think
literally just talking about consistency being an issue, and I hate to use the word consistency in sports because you are literally paid $20-30 million to be good, to show up and hit buckets, and when you don't every night, you are bad. You are not inconsistent. You are just bad that night. So players need to be better from night to night, and I can see the great coaching staff they're building. But will they have nights where Jeremy Grant scored, and obviously he's not on the roster anymore, but like where he last season scored 2 points? Are they going to have nights where Toumani scores nothing? Like you can't have those nights even with Dame back.
This is a situation to where it's literally, it's kind of do or die for everybody in this Trailblazers organization right now. Let's just think about this. Denny Avdia, he has to show and prove this year. He has to prove that last year wasn't a fluke. He has to prove that he deserves to be called an all-star. He has to prove that he can actually do this year in and year out. Toumani Camara has to prove that, man, I can play both ways. I can hit big shots. I can be on the floor for just more than just a defensive possession. Sissoko has a lot to prove. Klingon I can stay on the floor. I can stay out of foul trouble.
Will I not disappear down the stretch?
How can I score inside and everything? Young Hansen has tons to prove for everybody. Scoot has to prove lots to a lot of fans. Otherwise, he might not be here anymore anyway. Drew Holiday has a bunch to prove as a veteran leader. Damian Lillard has to prove that I'm not washed at this point because of Ja Morant has to prove that, man, I still love basketball and I still can play basketball. Shaedon Sharpe has to prove that, man, the playoffs was an aberration and I can come out here and actually cool. Everybody on this team has something to prove. The head coach has 1 year to show that, man, I can do this, I can lead. Otherwise, so yes, I do think those silly mistakes that we saw from the Blazers last year, all of them know that we don't have that margin for error. We have to do this, and it has to happen right now. Yes, I do see this team finishing somewhere, I'm going to say 4 or 5.
And let me just get on your side of things as far as like getting behind a Blazer and somebody that isn't quite there yet but could be, and that's Donovan Clingan. And mind you, I was okay with if there were a Jaylen Brown trade. And we can even get into that about the Blazers not acquiring Jaylen Brown because he apparently didn't want to come to Portland. And it's like, dude, you have 3 years left on your deal. It doesn't matter where you want to go. You don't have a no-trade clause. You're going to show up and ball.
I don't think he wants to go anywhere, but we'll talk about that later, too.
Yeah, we can talk about that, too. But Donovan Clingan, who I would have been okay with including in a trade like that, I think has the potential of a Karl Anthony Towns. I really think once he gets the three-point shooting lined up night after night after night, and that defensive effort that we've seen can be there late in games. Like we were saying, he doesn't disappear down the stretch. He can play a full 35 minutes, and in the playoffs, he can actually show up like he did in Game 50. There is huge potential for the Blazers to become one of the best teams of the Western Conference because what we saw from Cat and the Knicks unlocking him and kind of getting some of that rebounding, but also bringing back that three-point shooting for him that Mike Nori allowed him to do in Minnesota, that's a big deal. And I say that this Cat comparison is big for me because look who's the coach now, Mike Nori. He is going to unlock some specific things in Donovan Clingan this year that I think will see a big jump in his shooting ability and just consistency night to night, or the ability, as I really want to say, to be good. So I'm excited about that, and I can get on board with Blazers fans really supporting a homegrown drafted kid that they really think can be an all-star. I do think that can happen with Donovan Clingan. I don't just think the Blazers are getting a bunch of scrubs. So I'm not trying to bag on my Blazers.
No,
okay?
I get it.
I want to make it clear that there are players that I am way behind to and that I've got a lot of feels about that I think they can do well if they round out parts of their game.
Well, and I'm with you. All they need is maybe another shooter, somebody like that. And you look at the free agency board, there's still some guys available. Do they want to play in Portland, I think, is the bigger question. So hopefully this Trailblazer team can make us all proud this year. But if nothing else, we know they're going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, should be a good little season for us. Coming up next, man, let's get into the rest of the offseason, man. There was some trades. There was some free agency action going on. We'll talk about how the NBA wrapped up. Second hour, Sports Saturday on The Fan.
80 million listeners depend on...
Gotta love corn dogs, man. Are you a corn dog guy?
Yeah, there's like different types though.
If it's not hot dog on a stick, I'm out.
Because there's like a beef dog, then they've got like just the regular hot dog, and they've got like beer battered corn dogs. They got just the old fashioned corn dog. Give me the beef, like thick. It's kind of what they serve at like the state fair. That kind of corn dog. Like they do the giant corn dog and the giant pickle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds
one of those.
good. Sounds good, man. Been a while since I've had some carnival food or anything like that, so hopefully I can get some of that soon. I know there's a big food festival coming.
You're not a street fair guy. Are you a state fair guy or like a county fair guy?
I'm not a fair guy. I'm not getting my shoes messed up for
Well, I
all that
understand.
dirt.
Well, it smells like
manure.
donkeys for one. It
Yeah.
smells like ass for
Good.
one.
Literal ass.
And then you're getting taken advantage of by all the carnies. Like, hey, throw this little ring over these bottles that have been greased up. Yeah. Good luck with that.
So, again, this has been a really active NBA offseason. One of the busier off seasons that I can remember,
Right?
in quite a while.
It's sometimes it just ends up being a dud. Like you hear the potential of a bunch of big moves that are going to happen on ESPN for like weeks.
Yeah,
and then it's
nothing
silence.
happens.
Nothing.
Yeah, and really, a lot of which could be because Portland was involved in such a big blockbuster, at least headline, this off season. But for
Feel like
the
a
most
lot of
part,
other headlines
outside
stuff,
of
too.
that, like this has been an active NBA season. It all started, and guess what? We're kind of wrapped up in all of it because it all started with Giannis Antetokounmpo and where he was going to land.
Yeah.
And there was some Portland rumors in there. And I think I was one of those ones that was really, really pulling for Giannis because in my head that was really the only piece left to for this team to be a great squad.
Did you read that Milwaukee Sentinel article after he was traded to the Heat?
I didn't.
There was a really great piece done by a local, I think it was a beat reporter there in Milwaukee that had been covering the team and basically talked about the breakdown of Giannis's time with the Bucks over like the last 3 years.
It's got a lot of stuff, man. Giannis is kind of just having half Thanasis on your team. We talk a lot about LeBron
Yeah.
and having Bronny and, all the stuff like that. But Giannis, hey,
Kind
man,
of a prima donna is what this article painted him as a little bit.
he's been really pampered in the league since he was 19, 17. How old was he when he got to the league?
Yeah, I think 17 or 18.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
So
young kid.
and now
coming up.
he's a almost 30-year-old. Man, 30? Giannis? 30 at
31.
this point? Yeah. So, yeah, there's nothing you can do. He's a diva at this point, and that's okay. When you're as good as him, you can be a diva.
Portland, skip that. Just skip
seriously,
that. It's
you're
fine.
okay. But the Milwaukee Bucks, ended that era by trading the two-time MVP and Bobby Portis. That's one thing people don't really talk enough about to Miami. Miami has a bunch of bigs, and they got Tyler Hero and Jaime Jaquez Jr. and what is it, Yakachunas?
Yeah, Kaspris Yakashonis.
Yeah, so, I mean, Miami or Milwaukee got some pieces. Tyler Hero is from the Milwaukee area, so kind of a homecoming for him. Did you hear Bam punched him out
Bam
the
and
other day?
Tyler Hero
You hear
got
about
into
that?
a physical altercation.
See?
Apparently, there
don't
was
talk S, man.
Yeah.
If you're not, you're going to have to see these people. And Tyler Hero was talking some stuff to some reporters post Bam being traded, post
him being traded,
traded, and Bam took exception and punched him in his face. And I'm not saying violence is the answer, but sometimes you got to watch what you say, man. It's just that's just a part of life, unfortunately.
And by the way, Bobby Portis would have loved him on the Blazers. Like he
Oh, he's
literally
one of those
would have
guys,
fit.
absolutely.
He's like a 6'9" power forward center
Yeah.
guy that can shoot.
Yeah, Bobby
has
Portis
really
would be
good
great.
defense. Yeah, that's actually a piece that if you said, Jordan, that's the piece they're adding and then they're done, I'd actually be okay with that. So don't throw away Bobby Portis. He's
No,
a good
Bobby
piece.
Portis is a great
Yeah.
piece of that. I'm just confused in what they're doing in Miami. Like,
Yeah.
Giannis left the situation in Milwaukee because he wanted to win and went to Miami where it doesn't look like they're going to be doing that.
He went from playing to playing,
yeah.
and had no supporting cast in Milwaukee, and goes to Miami and says, oh, okay, you know what? I'll trust you to get me a supporting cast. And then in about 3 years, Pat Riley's probably going to be done with him.
Yeah, or hopefully not deceased, man. How old is Pat Riley now?
Probably close to 80, but dude,
Yeah,
he's
it's
Pat
time.
Riley.
It's time to let it go at a point, man. When you're 80,
81.
you just don't make sound decisions about everything all the time when you're that age. Not saying he's still not sharp, but
I mean,
I think
Popovich was there until his stroke, which was I think late 70s.
and
Like
things
he was
weren't going
all
well.
there.
Things weren't going well in San Antonio. You know, like I mean, like they were going so bad they were able to get like top draft picks.
Well, that's their cycle, brother.
Yeah.
It wasn't going.
I get
bad.
it, and that's
was,
what I'm. It should have been somebody else. Either way, I digress. That's a
I
conversation
gotcha.
for a different day. And then the one that really impacted us here in Portland was Jaylen Brown was traded. It was not to the Portland Trail Blazers. It was not to any team that made sense. It was to the Philadelphia 76ers for Paul George. What? And a 2028 first round pick and a 2031 first round pick and 2 second round picks. For what? Like, so then the whole conversation with us as Blazer fans come in like, what the hell? How are we not in the mix for that? We could have gave way more than just Paul George, but
Yep.
But I don't think they want to do business with Portland.
No,
And
that's not true. I
don't
think
know.
I genuinely think that if the Celtics got, I heard initially 3 weeks ago that the Celtics were looking for 4 first-round picks for Jaylen Brown. Is that a high asking price? But yes, I guarantee you Portland could have come in with probably like a Shaden and Drew combo or like a Scoot Shaden Donovan combo plus 3 first rounders for a Jaylen Brown. Like that is one of the better deals that team would have gotten.
I'm not one of those people that feels like 4 first rounders for Jaylen Brown was a lot. I'd have given it to him.
No. I agree with
Yeah.
you. I'm just saying that like a lot of people had sticker shock at that initial cost, and the Blazers, with all their assets, had the ability to do that trade. So no, I don't think Boston didn't want to do business with the Blazers. If anything, I think the Blazers were maybe a little hesitant to make the Jaylen Brown trade at all.
But there were 2 trades that happened that nobody really saw coming. I think we all saw Giannis coming. We all saw Jaylen Brown coming. We all saw John Morant coming eventually if they could find a buyer. There
Not
were
to Portland, but
trades.
yeah.
There were 2 trades that happened that nobody saw coming. One of which was LaMelo Ball to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Naz Reid, which I didn't love. I still don't love. I think Minnesota just lost all of their depth, especially as far as big man. But you do get LaMelo Ball, and you do have Anthony
Triple-double
Edwards
machine.
already on your team. And so really, I think they're going to be rivaling Portland as the most exciting team in the Western Conference.
I know you said that they lost a couple of pieces like Naz Reid, but man, like I said, they brought
Julius Randle.
Yeah, but they kind of were. You could tell that his time in Minnesota was kind of ending. They were not really as gelled like him and Anthony Edwards were on the court last season as they were a couple of years before. You look like, okay, Julius Randle wants to find a new home or something like that, but they have pieces that I still think allow them to be a top 5 team in the West. LaMelo Ball keeps them there. And
LaMelo Ball's great.
DeSunmu, now a 5-year deal, he can lock in. They still, of course, have one of the best defensive players in Rudy Gobert. Like, yeah, they need a couple of pieces, but they still overall have the core that they've had the last few years.
But their makeup is kind of the Blazers and really kind of worse because they don't have as much talent as the Blazers at this point. You have Anthony Edwards, who is obviously he's an MVP candidate. You have LaMelo Ball, who's a great player. You have DeSunmu now, DeSunmu, who you've locked up. You have Bones Highland, so you have your 4 guards. Then you have Rudy
DiVincenzo,
Gobert.
once he's healthy.
DiVincenzo's out for an Achilles, so that's a year where he's not coming back at this point.
Jaden McDaniel's been a really good piece.
Jaden McDaniels is essentially a Jeremy Grant, for your team. Maybe not even as good as Jeremy Grant. So, yeah, I'm looking at this squad going, the Blazers can definitely be better than them. So that's one thing. And then the other big trade was sentimental, if nothing else. And Kawhi Leonard going back to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, and 2 unprotected first-round picks and a swap. I thought that was awesome. A bit of a tear came to my eye when I found out that Kawhi, who we hadn't been talking about at all in free agency, I think we all assumed he'd be going, assumed like everything would be fine in Clipper land and he wouldn't be traded. And Clippers are starting over, and they're starting over with a younger Brandon Ingram. But Kawhi Leonard to Toronto, I think Toronto is trying to go after DeMar DeRozan, who was waived.
Yeah, he was just let go by the Bulls, right? Yeah.
That could be a big move for them. I loved Kawhi to the Raptors. He should have stayed a little bit longer. I think he would have been much happier if he actually stayed in Toronto. And then he inherited Scotty Barnes. And so, yeah, I think this is a great thing for Toronto in the Eastern Conference.
It's good to see. I always love when these kinds of stories happen in the NBA. It's really hard to see like a Damian Lillard return story to Portland. Like that outside of LeBron is just not a regular thing. So I hear you. It was more emotional than anything because, yeah, he's still going to be good. Is Toronto going to be competing for anything in the East? Like, they'll be up there, but I don't think anybody's seen them as topping, the Knicks or anybody else, or like the Pacers a couple of years ago when they were there in the Eastern Conference Finals. So no, it's not bad, but like it doesn't move the needle for me.
You know who didn't make any moves, and I don't know how they didn't? The Indiana Pacers were non-existent for the most part in these off-season talks. And if I'm them, I'm trying to be as aggressive as possible to make sure I put everything around Tyrese Halliburton as he's getting ready to come back.
Don't they still have most of their pieces that were there in their Eastern Conference
Ben
Finals
Mathurin
run?
is gone.
Yeah, Mathurin's gone.
Who else? Obviously, Miles Turner is gone.
But I'm talking more like the ancillary guys that came in and filled the holes. Obviously, starters like Nembhard and Nesmith are still there. I think you got like Ben Shepherd, who was coming off the bench. Obi Toppin, a really good piece, is still in Indiana. So, yeah, they lost a couple of their guys. But like TJ McConnell, like those little ancillary additions helped them a lot.
If I'm just seeing New York win the championship, knowing that I've eliminated them from the playoffs for the last 2 years, and knowing that the reason we're not there is because Tyrese Halliburton wasn't good to go this year, I'm doing everything I can to make sure my roster is as solid as possible because we plan to make a run when Tyrese gets back.
Well, and I mean, they literally, it was even after their finals run initially in the East that they let Miles Turner go. Like, that wasn't
he walked
even this
immediately,
season.
which was crazy to me.
They've been doing this now for a year.
Where's Miles Turner now?
Yeah, Milwaukee. They signed the Bucks signed him.
Right? Going to be in obscurity, this year. So we'll see what it is. But, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up this conversation about free agency. There's still some other big moves that happen via trade.
Or some that
off-season or stuff that could happen. There's some question marks behind that. LeBron James still does not have a team. So we'll talk about all that when we come back here. Sports Saturday, right here on The Fan.
After a car crash, everything changes.
Lots of big moves across the NBA, but then some kind of medium-sized moves were made, but moves that hopefully will impact these teams in a positive way unless they're playing the Portland Trailblazers. So Chris Middleton to the Washington Wizards from the Dallas Mavericks signs a 6-team sign and trade. That's a lot of moving parts, but Chris Middleton is now on the Washington Wizards, who quietly might have something in the East, maybe at least a play-in, potentially. If you get even an Anthony Davis for 42 games of Anthony Davis, and then Demanza looks pretty nice. His first game in Summer League, he can't shoot, but, I mean, that never stopped Giannis from being able to be dominant in the league. So it looks like they're trying to do something in Washington. They also got
Trae Young.
They bought back Trae Young, and they got DeAndre Ayton. We
saw
forgot about that, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's something that also happened. So Ayton's probably going to back up Sarr, in some regards. He may even play some minutes while Sarr's at the 4. I don't know what they're going to do in Washington. But if you're Washington right now, you've got a bunch of bodies, including Trae Young. And so, maybe Washington goes for that play-in, maybe a 7 seed, 6 seed.
That's weird to consider. They've just been at the bottom of the barrel, but they're going for it.
They are definitely going for it, man. One team that seems like they're going the other way is the Los Angeles Lakers, who, like Stephen A. says, that they're not going to win nothing with no brothers. I mean, I don't know. If you saw Hoosiers, it can happen, eventually. So Walker Kessler is leaving the Utah Jazz and is now a Los Angeles Laker, along with his guys. Austin Reeves got that nice little extension this summer, and then also Luka Doncic. So I like Walker Kessler. He's quietly one of the better big men in the league. He played in Utah, so nobody knew it. But if you're a Portland Trailblazer fan, you know what he's able to do. Yeah, he's pretty good. And so
Utah's
the Blazers,
a bunch of Blazer killers.
Yeah, so the Lakers get a good one in that one. And then I guess Indiana did make a move, right? Because they did get Kelly Oubre for a couple years. Kelly Oubre can be a nice little piece for a squad. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like I guess a little bit what Obi Toppin can do. Just kind of play defense, get some easy buckets for you and everything. Maybe knock down your occasional 3. So I like that move for the Pacers. The Pistons getting John Collins was huge. So there's a lot of stuff that happened over free agency. Julius Randle going to the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm so sorry. So sorry, Julius. Like, that's such a crappy situation to be in. Like, the Nets are going nowhere really, really fast. And I kind of feel bad that Julius Randle has to be a part of that. He's a good player.
Are you surprised that LeBron James did not come back to the Lakers?
No.
What's his end game here? Because he's already done it all, minus the Golden State pair up with Steph.
I think LeBron not figured out, he's always known, but he just kind of submitted to the fact that, man, LA just doesn't love him the way that, and that sounds crazy, because you look at what LeBron's been able to do while he's been in LA, and it's another Hall of Fame career.
But LA loves LA guys.
No, but they don't, unless you're LeBron James, because you come in the year Kobe Bryant passes away, basically. You come in like right before that, and then Kobe passes, and now you take over Kareem's all-time scoring record, and you do it as a Laker, and it's like, I think there's a lot of resentment.
No, that's what I'm saying is LeBron is not an LA guy.
No, he's not. He's not an LA guy.
Kareem,
unfortunately,
Kobe, Shaq, those are LA guys.
And Shaq was traded there. LeBron chose he didn't choose LA. Shaq chose the money, initially to LA. LeBron is a guy that chose LA. And while in LA, he was 8 times all NBA. Or 7 times all NBA. He's got an NBA championship while he's been there.
Yeah.
He's got like 7 All-Stars. Like, for real, if that's what
you were
comparing Hall of Fame careers, his 8 years in LA, he would be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I think Lakers fans are upset with him more than other Laker legends, is because he didn't necessarily earn in their minds the ability to dictate how the Lakers roster was going to be built. Like LeBron, we all know, tries to be coach, GM, and player. And I think that's kind of one of the things that, got David Blatt ousted in Cleveland. It's one of the things that that essentially made Miami move on from him back in the day. Like, LeBron is not an easy guy to work on the business side of things with. He's amazing on the court, but there was offseason after offseason of stories about, well, LeBron wants them to do this. LeBron wants this. And I'm not sure that he always got what he wanted, and I think that there's contention on both sides there the fact that he even asked. And then when he's not getting it, he's like, well, what the hell? I thought that I was going to be the next Kobe.
This is crazy. I'm going to read to you just the last 8 years that he's been in LA. This is LeBron James.
Yeah.
2020 champion. Yeah. 2020 Finals MVP. 2023 Cup winner. Cup MVP. Whatever. It's a thing
the
now.
Cup
And he won it. Whatever. It's a thing. He won it. Multiple playoff runs.
Yes.
All-time NBA scoring leader. The 40,000 and 50,000 thousand point club and everything. First to 10K, 10K, and 10K club. Became the inaugural player across 10,000 career points, rebounds, and assists simultaneously. As far as All-Stars, 8-time All-Star selection, 7-time All-NBA selection, 2020 assist leader, and then was the only other person in the franchise of the Los Angeles Lakers to make 1,000 three-pointers. The other one, Kobe Bryant.
Okay, no, all right, I hear what you're saying.
I'm saying, like, that's just in less than a decade he did that there. LA fans, number one, they're ungrateful. Yankee fans, Laker fans, Celtic fans are incredibly ungrateful. Like, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. It is what it is. They always cry about what they don't have, what they don't get. They get to see greatness. They've only seen greatness their entire time, and then they have the gall to complain. I'm sorry.
All right. I am not the guy that ever defends Lakers fans. Ever.
Here we go.
But here we go, because this is a specific LeBron James situation. Once he arrived, there was no plan for 10 years down the road. There was no plan for 5 years down the road. And this is what I was talking about with LeBron wanting his roster, wanting specific pieces brought in now. You were playing every season for May. And if it didn't work that season, you basically had to quickly readjust. There was no future plan, no care for what the organization's going to be doing later on. It was, I'm the priority. You need to win now with me. And I don't think Lakers fans liked that.
And all of a sudden, Laker fans aren't in the win now mode. That's
not what I'm saying, but it's sacrifice everything for me. Not for a championship, not for win now mode, but for me, LeBron James.
What did Kobe Bryant say when he was in that first year when they weren't losing? Man, get me out of here or find me some help.
And he said, yeah, but rightfully so, because they were being cheap asses.
That's what superstars do. That's exactly what Giannis just did.
But he won them 6 championships. LeBron did not.
LeBron won them a championship. And again, in a Western Conference that was super hard. And there hasn't been a dominant team.
Sorry, 5 championships.
Yeah, there hasn't been a dominant team in the NBA in a decade, because there hasn't been a back-to-back champion in years. So it's been a new champion every year. LeBron happened to be one of those new champions with the Lakers. And again, with everything that he was able to accomplish in just that time span there.
If LeBron had a three-peat for the Lakers, then Lakers fans would bend over and be like, do whatever you want to me. But when you come in and say, I'm the greatest, and that is why I'm going to dictate everything about this organization, which is at the time, it was a family-run organization. It's basically Jeannie Buss and her brothers and Rob Pelinka.
And if he did that and was ass and came out there and made one All-NBA team.
He didn't make his teammates better. That's the problem.
His teammates were. Luka was always hurt. Anthony Davis was always hurt. He's not Magic.
Why do you go get Gabe Vincent though? Because
Gabe Vincent was a good shooter. Gabe Vincent was a good player.
Not with LeBron.
Westbrook is declining everything. Yeah, I got you, Westbrook. Come play. You can come play here. Melo, declining. You're not going to be the star, but yeah, you need a place to play. I got you. Come play here.
There was no cohesive roster in 7-8 seasons that he was there. It was always turned over. There was never a consistent feeling of, hey, I know the guys that I'm going to be working with. Rashad,
that's an
if you came in every
problem.
week and there was a different host that you had to work with and a different board op that you had to work with, eventually your mind would be like, yeah, this is fun, but I'm not sure if I can do this. This is really annoying.
Is he the GM?
LeBron?
No, yeah.
He acts like it, yes.
He's not, though.
He's literally.
He's not,
that's
though.
why Black got fired. It's why Mike Brown got fired. He's gotten coaches fired. He's gotten players taken off rosters.
And that's not how it works in L.A. That's not how it works there. There are
and
certain
that
places
is
that's
why,
just not what, that's not
that
what it
is why the contention was the way that it was.
I don't know, man. For such a contentious place, 25, almost 26 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 7.5 assists, a little over that, in 479 regular season games. Like, hey, man, yes. Sorry. Like, I mean, yes, you're going to have to deal with the diva. We just talked about Giannis. In that time, Giannis got you 2 MVPs, a championship, put Milwaukee on the map. Yes, he deserve. I'm sorry, he's a diva. Yeah. Certain guys that when you get certain stuff, when you bring championships to cities, yes. Jaylen Brown, that's not his personality, but trust, if he wants to act like that all of a sudden, he's within his rights. Yes. You're a champion. I bought a championship to New York. This is how things are now.
I mean, you mentioned that D'Angelo Russell, Russell Westbrook, when they traded D'Angelo Russell and Jared Vanderbilt, who at the time, good piece, Malik Beasley as well. Like, those were guys that all could have helped the Lakers get farther along than Russell Westbrook. And you go for an aging superstar because LeBron says, hey, I want to play with this big-name guy.
We could use him.
It's a
Nobody else is going for him.
It
was cheap. Westbrook was cheap.
What are you talking about? D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt? No, absolutely not.
You said Jared Vanderbilt. Who else? Malik Beasley and who else?
D'Angelo Russell.
Where's D'Lo right now? D'Lo's in.
Oh, sorry, that was the trade that sent him away. No, they got rid of Kyle Kuzma and KCP.
Stop it. For Westbrook. Yes, stop it all day.
And a pick in the draft.
All day. You can have that for Russell Westbrook.
If he actually would have played well with Anthony Davis and LeBron, maybe that
did play well. Westbrook, he averaged 12 points on what would you expect Russell Westbrook to average with LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the floor?
It wasn't about average. It was about the games looking better. It was about succinct wins, the team gelling, and it never happened.
The team didn't gel. I don't think that all that has to do with LeBron, but when you are the superstar, you do take a lot of that brunt. Let's What do we want to do? You want to switch things up a little bit?
Yeah, we can go NFL. We can go MLB. I mean, God, there was so much happening in the last 3 weeks, despite it being July. World Cup's happening right now.
Let's go World Cup. Let's do that for a little bit.
Okay.
Not necessarily the game. Just talk about the impact, man. For me, just because I had some buddies that have been at some World Cup stuff, and
I want to hear about it
on Monday. So yeah, we'll talk about that next. But first, Jordan and sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, the Portland Trailblazers opening up Summer League play last night down in Las Vegas with a loss to the Suns, 81-79 the final. Young Hansen, 12 points, 5 of 10 shooting, 2 of 3 from three-point land. Blazers back at it tomorrow against the Magic at 4 p.m. You can watch it on ESPNU. Also, adding a player to their roster, Micah Porter, claimed off of waivers from the Indiana Pacers. He's a 5-year vet that can shoot the three. Over to the pitch. Quarterfinals in the World Cup happening this afternoon. England and Norway getting going at 2 p.m. on Fox. Then tonight it's the Swiss taking on Argentina at 6 p.m. also on Fox. And you've got the Genesis Scottish Open happening right now. Johnny Keeler, your leader, at 10 under, almost off the course for his third round. Marcus Armitage now tied with Kevin Roy and Wyndham Clark, along with Rory McIlroy, Jordan Smith, and Tom Kim for second, all at 9 under. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte from the George McCoy Warren Allen Sports Desk. Curtain missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home of prime time with Isaac and Sue. Weekdays 3 to 7. The Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Hey everybody, Sprague here. Is that slow drain starting to bother you? Call 3 Mountains Home Services today, and they'll clear your stubborn drain with accessible cleanout for only $59. That's right, just $59. They'll fix those pesky drain clogs for you so your drains run smoothly again. Plus, while they're there, they can provide a free estimate for a main line replacement. Top-notch customer service at 3 Mountains Home Services. Call 3 Mountains today or schedule online at 3mountainshomeservices.com. 3 Mountains Home Services, they make home services delightful. CCB number 169499.
Liberty Mutual.
World Cup football has completely taken over. Well, okay, let me take
The
that
U.S., they made it to the 16, baby.
back. They've taken over parts of the U.S. that World Cup is actually taking place in.
It's actually pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Like Holland, the Norway star, getting to eat, I think it was like a Reuben for the first time, just checking out. Now they're in Miami. So, of course, they're going to get to see, if they haven't been to Miami yet, I can't remember exactly where each country's been, but they'll get to see the local Miami scene and what's great about that, which would be, I don't know, boobs, butts, and really good tropical drinks and
There it is.
some seafood. I think so that's
some
what you're gonna get
Americana
down
right
there.
there.
Yeah.
That's Americana right there. But no, I mean, if you are one of the 11 cities that is hosting the Olympics, or the Olympics, the World Cup, and you were somewhere around there, so it's Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Miami, New York, Jersey, Philly, San Francisco, and Seattle. So if you're one of those cities, all cities on the outside, on the coast for the most part, with the exception of Kansas City, I think that's the one that's not
It's like
a coastal. Yeah, whatever.
It's okay. You got some barbecue there.
Got some great barbecue.
Good Americana there. in
Which is a
Kansas
great
City.
space to go if I need some
Kansas City.
some barbecue. Houston is a great space to go.
Oh, very much so.
But have you been to have you been to any of the World Cup, either to a bar or to a?
So I was up in Seattle a couple of days before the initial USA-Australia match.
My buddy Chris was actually up there for the USA Australia match. I think it was.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Shout out to Chris. And I was up there, I think it was on a Friday, and I was up there the Wednesday or Thursday before, and you could see, it was a lot of fans just wearing the Australian jerseys. I think it was the Aussie green is what their jersey was. Coming into town, they had blocked off some of the major expressways, so you couldn't actually go on I-5 all the ways that you normally could in Seattle. Traffic sucked. There were a lot of streets blocked off, but the bars that I were at were all decked out. It seemed fun, and the vibe was high, and that was a couple of days before. I think initially, the week before that, people were kind of scared it was going to be a dud, but as the USA-Aussie game happened up in Seattle, things started to pop off. You heard about Boston, how the Scottish there and Bostonian fans Bostonians now have a love affair with each other, and there's some really cool stories that have been happening since then. And the cities they've gotten that economic boon that they were hoping for the World Cup.
Correction, my buddy went this past Monday, which was the game against Belgium.
Oh, that's cool.
4-1 loss and everything like that. But
so the US he was at the 16.
Yes.
Oh,
I don't think he went to the game, but just
he was at the
he just went
party
up the
area.
and,
Okay.
Which he said was absolutely just bonkers and everything. And I can imagine we were up there just a few days before at the Mariners game, and it was Mariners game was always a lot of fun. But he said, man, I had never seen anything like that. It was that was like Americana at its finest, and it was just a couple days after 4th of July.
Oh, even
so better. People went to Walmart and got those clearance rack
all the fireworks, all the
USA
poppers,
stuff. Yeah,
and all
absolutely.
the USA stuff. Yeah,
so a lot of people were kind of decked out there. But I just think socially, man, if you're not, what I've noticed is those cities, those states that don't have World Cup in it or around it, they could care less. Right now, most players, if you ask anybody in Utah if they give a damn about the World Cup, they're probably no,
what?
We're good. But socially, it's been a viral sensation. You can't go to your TikTok or to YouTube or wherever, and the first thing you see isn't something from the World Cup, be it it's part of the game, one of the fans, and even some negative stuff, right? I know there was the whole thing with Argentina and some racism with IShowSpeed, the internet sensation and everything like that. So there's, of course, always going to be some negative, in
Egypt and Iran playing on the Pride match day up in Seattle.
Yeah,
that was not planned, but boy, was that just a gem.
That was planned.
Oh,
they knew.
That was a gem.
They knew and everything. But
did you see Norway? They complained about their original digs in Miami for this upcoming game, said that there were too many roads under construction nearby, so it wasn't quiet, and they wanted closer access to the beach.
Who said this?
Norway's national team. So they got moved from, I think, a $300 a night hotel beautiful high-rise pool on the top and everything, 5 stars obviously, to like a 4 Seasons right on the beach. Yeah, of course those are better accommodations, but now Holland and Norway are happy. So
of
we're
course they
all
are.
good there.
Well, as long as everybody's happy. But, I think the main thing is you've got a lot of people that are coming from other countries that are coming to America for the first time.
Oh.
And they're finding out that a lot of Americans aren't as bad as they thought.
No, and they kind of love America as a whole, the food, the people, the vibe.
Yeah, I think there are some, are there some bad elements here? Yeah, of course. There are. Like, I'm 100%. There are bad elements that exist everywhere. But for the most part, to look at so many, like, especially these content creators that come and they're having the food for the first time, and they're having like these real world encounters, right? With local Americans, and it's kind of really dismantled like their little whatever preconceived negative assumption that they might have had about us here in America. We all love our guns and our explosions, and I'll be honest, we do love us some guns here.
But we're not out
America.
shooting each other. It's not like this, like, hey, waving your gun around. How you doing there over in Belgium? That's not what we do.
Yeah, we're not doing like old school, standoffs or anything
Yippee-ki-yay.
like that and everything like that. But and overall, man, I think I can't speak for Houston and everywhere else that is hosting the World Cup. I can't speak for Seattle though, because I do know that they've done a great job of just making sure that these people, they put on the best show, for everybody. So their food, if you go to Seattle, the food is always on point and everything anyway. But just everybody's kind of bought into the idea of World Cup. We even talked about all the Scottish fans, wearing kilts and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I think it's kind of swept up, especially us here on the West Coast. Like, up in every bar that I've been to, regardless of who's playing, it's packed. People are excited. But I think for Mexico and for America or for USA, those were the two that kind of packed out the most.
I think they said 1 million plus people came through Seattle during their FIFA World Cup hosting time. So what was that, about 3 weeks? And they obviously had matches through the 16, which very lucky for them. They ended up getting, the United States 16 game against Belgium, not what we wanted. Thank you, Pulisic. Like, please tough it out, do something. That game sucked, honestly. And they taught me, like, in 10, 11-year-old soccer games, not to come out of the goalie box that far. So just terrible mistakes made by the U.S., like asinine, childlike mistakes on the soccer pitch. And yeah, not the result we wanted, but damn, man, those fans had a really good time up there.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that's cool that Chris was a part of it. I'm glad that I got to see the, just kind of the start of it. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So that's became one of those bucket list things for me. And so, didn't get a chance to go to any one of the games. These asking prices were insane.
You would have had to sell an arm or a leg.
Insane.
Like, I'll give you my pinky if I can have a ticket, please.
Yeah, so didn't get a chance to go, but absolutely love the environment. So shout out to all of our American cities for putting on for the World Cup, because soccer is not our jam here in the States, but we put on a great show and made sure that everybody from outside of this country can come in and enjoy. So what do you say we tie a bow on this bad boy?
Let's do it, brother. It's been a fun one.
We're going to wrap up the show right here, Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Sometimes the best advice.
1051 and 1080 The Fan.
Beautiful day here in Portland, Oregon, man. Mild, should be getting better.
Do you want 95? Because I don't.
I'll take it, man. I'll take it. I'm not tripping. Like, I'm happy for life. I'm happy for everything. So I got to do something one time before I get out of here, before we kind of wrap up the show, if you don't mind, Jordan.
Please.
So my very first time hosting by myself, hosting alone, my guy Mike Lynch, I think he took some vacation or something like that, and so I knew I was going to be hosted by myself. I was super nervous, but I had my guys from a restaurant called Stupid Burger come in, and it was my guy Danny Moore, my man John Hunt, and this is when we were over there on McAdam, and they came in and they bought some burgers for me to try and everything for the first time, and since then Stupid Burger's become like a kind of a staple here in Portland. And John and Danny, they end up going their separate ways and everything. John opened a place called Hustle Burger not too long ago and started doing his thing. And I got the unfortunate news the other day that my guy John passed away this past week. And
That's awful.
He was somebody that was beloved in Portland. Oftentimes when I do this show, and especially if I have an opportunity to do it by myself, I like to have people on from the community that are doing something, Portland's such a beautiful place. But I think we often don't talk about those people that kind of make it such, right? And so it's always important for me to have people on from my community, people that I know that are really doing the work, be it in education or nonprofit or just business. And so I always want to make sure I have those people on. And John was a great person, great soul. Somebody's going to be super, super missed here in Portland. So that was my guy, man. So to his family, to his friends, man, my condolences and prayers for all of you guys. And to love your loved ones, man. Love your people, man. Love your city and all that stuff, man. Be somebody people want to be around. And my guy was definitely one of those. So
it's always the good ones.
It's always the good ones, man.
Sucks.
So shout out to him and his family and everybody that's kind of going through it with anybody that they may have lost in the last little bit. So yeah, man. So it was important for me to say that as I thought about doing the show by myself today. I was like, damn, man. First time I did that, he was there and he came in and everything. So yeah, that was important for me to make sure I said today. But so now I just got to find a way to fill out the rest of my day. I don't think I'm going to the Mississippi Street Fair.
No,
that's out. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I know you're too overwhelmed by fairs.
It's so many people. Like I just don't like it. And then without sounding weird. I've lived here for a long time, so I'm kind of popular, right? And so I have to stop and dap up everybody that I know, which is not a problem, but it makes getting to where you're going a little bit faster because sometimes that dap means a little bit of a conversation. What's up with you? Where you going? What's up with you? What you got going? Like, and then that's an extra. So yeah, so a lot of those things I try to avoid. I love people. I love being
totally.
Out. Something cool happened the other day. I was in my Uber going to a meeting, and gentleman was like, man, Rashad sounds familiar. And I was like, oh, you follow sports? And I was like, yeah, I have a show on the Fan. It's like, oh, that's you.
That's you.
And I was like, that's crazy. Like my first response is always, man, you listen to that? Like, y'all listen? Like, okay.
Especially an Uber driver, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like that's tight. So yes, keep the AM radio around because there are a lot of people that still listen to us.
We want to be on 105.1 and 1080.
And 1080. There's still a lot of people that listen to us on 1080, so hopefully they keep AM radio around. But no, man. Shout out to all the listeners. Shout out to everybody that participates, and we help you on your drive to work or your drive to wherever the hell you're going. We appreciate
daycare,
it. Or if you're just in the yard, doing some yard work or whatever, man, we appreciate it.
To the laundromat, to all your errands that you need to. Yeah, it's. I don't know if you noticed, Rashad. This is always the time of year where everybody takes vacations too. So every time
things are wide open at the Fan.
Yeah, things are wide open right now here, but then also not wide open on the roads because
oh no,
even getting here this morning sucked.
Yeah. Just driving around, especially in Portland, like the roads kind of suck. We don't have enough lanes of traffic. It's just overall not as comfortable a place to drive. So when holiday weekends and stuff come around, like last weekend, and especially 4th of July being on a Saturday and everybody having the day off that Friday, brutal.
Well, and I can't imagine you're talking like what the effect was. We're just talking World Cup on Seattle's infrastructure. That game Monday, right after July 4th being on a Saturday.
Insane.
Good effing luck. Those fans from Belgium, probably got a once-in-a-lifetime experience as far as like being here in America, 250, and then getting to see their team beat the hell out of the United States.
Then get to kick some ass. I was going to say, and then
that was a bad
4-1. Woo!
Yeah, can we? There's not much to unpack. Like that. That sucked, brother. I had a lot of anticipation for the U.S. going into it. They actually, previous World Cup iteration teams for the U.S. NMT just didn't really have a strategy. This year, man, they were on it. When they were doing kickoffs, it was down into the corner. They were pinning teams deep. They were on the attack. Even when they were tied, they still looked like they had a lot of confidence against Belgium, but I don't know, bro. Once your main guy, it's like if Damian Lillard was hurting during a game for the Blazers in the playoffs, and then he just said, yeah, my leg hurts too much. I can't play. Dame would never do that. And that is what Pulisic ended up doing. I'm sure he hurt, but like, man, it's just a bad look to get off the pitch in that moment, brother. And he had already had a bad lead up to the World Cup. He hadn't played much because of other injuries. Like, this is the time where you show up, and he just didn't play well. And then that goalkeeper, yeah, he gets to go back and make millions and his life is fine, but that's kind of, I always hate that, like, there's no, when Aaron Judge, for instance, when the Yankees were in the World Series a couple seasons ago, Aaron Judge did not show up. He wasn't over, but there were no clutch hits, no big moments, no anything from Mr. $45, $50 million Yankee man. And you should have heard the crap that Yankees fans were giving him. And frankly, the nation, ESPN, everybody was ragging on Aaron Judge and his inability to show up in the big moments. And you know what happened come February? Spring training started again, Rashad? Nothing. Crickets. No, not a peep about it. It's like people forget. And all of a sudden this guy, I mean, I hope he's never let on another U.S. men's national team again after a gaffe like that. I'm talking about the goalie, because that is an inexcusable error, period. Like, that is the kind of thing that gets you fired in a normal job, right?
In the second half, that's really when things went to crap for USA. Like, Freese? Is that how you say his name?
I think so.
Is that how you say his name? Yeah. 2-1, you're down in the first half. It's like, all right, you can still do this, right? You can still make a plan. But then when it went 3-1, it was like, okay.
Well, and
this game is over.
They were really on the attack, Rashad. They had, I don't think Belgium had a shot on goal up to like 10 or 12 minutes through the second half. And then the U.S. just unfortunately let it slip. And the way that they defended it, that's what allowed Belgium to take the lead. That gaffe by the goalie. Unbelievable.
I can't tell you how many times in my life I've ever been excited to watch a soccer game.
Right?
That was one for me. I can't tell you. One.
Maybe 3 or 4 for me.
One. I could really care less, but you're talking about a soccer game that's taking place 2.5 hours away from me. I know the crowd is hype, and United States is playing in the round of 16 to go to the. Yes, I have to see this.
Huge.
I have to see this, and that was the most disappointing loss that I've seen of in a lot of sports and a lot of times. Like, I mean, I'm a Blazers fan, so that kind of sucked to see. However, it got me excited to watch soccer, right? It got me thinking. It got me thinking that, hey man, maybe this can be a thing for me. Maybe I can be a Premier League guy that really latches on to this stuff. And seriously, maybe because there were points that I was super excited. You know, it was like, oh, when they get ready to score and they get close to scoring, it's kind of like this, hold your breath because it might happen. Oh, okay. And so you get more of those than you get to kind of rejoice. But it was a cool environment. It was a cool thing to see.
And shout out to John Strong, too, a former coworker of mine at another place here. He was calling all the American games on Fox. Man, just one of the best announcers in soccer that ever. And it was really, really cool to hear him.
No, yeah. So shout out to everybody that made that work. And hopefully if they do some World Cup again, now they know that, man, hey, United States is a place that we can have some games take place, and we can do this. So fingers crossed.
I think in the future, we've obviously with the Olympics, with the World Cup, seen how countries that don't have the infrastructure that aren't ready. We've stopped that. We've learned the lesson that we are literally
money talks though.
Money talks. But now we're seeing that people are making more money when you have the infrastructure in place. You know,
the Winter
in
Olympics
America,
in Dubai,
in France. Yeah. We're not doing that anymore. But now, going forward, I wouldn't be surprised if FIFA were back here for the World Cup in 20 years or less.
Oh, we love it, man. We love you. So, Jordan, man, as always, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Love you. Love you all out there.
All right, man. And I think the whole crew will be back next week.
I think so.
9 to 11, but Joe might be out again. You know, he's a very popular young man, so he'll probably be out doing something. But if nothing else, we will be here, and we'll be talking more sports for you all. Hopefully you enjoy your weekend. Please be safe with all of the activities happening around here in Portland. We love you. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.
I used to